Welcome to Beyond the Beehive. If you're not familiar with this segment, what it is we are doing is we are going out from the lenses of politics and trying to examine issues from the lenses of economics and history. And today we're using even psychology. I felt this for a long time as a reporter. Looking at and examining everything from a political lens makes a person myopic. Like you only see things in a certain way. It's your way or the highway. It makes us very divided and divisive in our thinking. I really think ideological bubbles will destroy our country. And I think we need to escape those ideological bubbles, or hives as I like to call them, and get out of our mind hives and go and see the rest of the world and how other people think. And so for the purposes of this program, we're trying to understand how and why people think the way they do, how and why they adopt the philosophical ideas that they do. And so for the past couple of weeks, we've been examining what is neo-Marxist ideology. What is it that people who are members of Antifa are thinking? Like how and why do they think the way they think? And why is it that Portland right now is in such turmoil? That's what we're looking at today. So I want to show you a first clip right now of Nick Shirley. I haven't even watched this whole clip because it's so new. He's briefing President Trump. This is Utah's Nick Shirley, who's been all over, but especially in Portland recently, briefing President Trump on what's going on the streets in Portland. I'm going to show that clip to you now.
Years old. I'm a 100% independent YouTube journalist, and over the past year or so, I've been able to go to 15 countries. I've hung out with people in the gangs of Brazil, in the favelas, in the prisons of Secot, but yet the most dangerous places I have been here in the United States, unfortunately. And I've had the opportunity to show people about the protest Antifa here in the United States, and there's nothing organic about what they are doing here in the United States. I've watched people be bussed in from states. I've watched the same lady at a protest in Atlanta be bused to the protest in D.C. and then in New York City. There's nothing that is honest about what they are doing. And they have signs. I've seen the same signs here in D.C. and in London as well. It's a big organization and corporation that they're running. And people may wonder, like, what's the threat to us as Americans if we go? Well, you'll be labeled as a fascist, you'll be labeled as a Nazi, and they'll wish death upon you, because they wish death upon me. And just last week in Portland, Oregon, I watched a lady get trapped in her car, surrounded by Antifa, and her sister messaged me after seeing the video. She said, the only reason I think my sister was safe is because you were there recording. I also was chased out by a member of Antifa who said he would smoke me.
Pretty interesting that he's being asked by the White House to brief them on what's going on there. And obviously Nick Shirley travels all over the world. He reports on what's going on. We've showed his videos the last few episodes. He tries to get right in the thick of it. And what is the thick of it? Like, what does it look like there right now? I want to show you a clip right now to show you what it looks like in Portland, Oregon.
You are looking at protesters and federal law enforcement officers clashing again during demonstrations outside the ICE facility in Portland, Oregon. Good morning. I'm Holly Menino. The tense moments coming after a federal judge blocked the Trump administration from sending any National Guard troops into Portland. That judge questioned whether Trump was trying to circumvent her order a day earlier, temporarily blocking use of Oregon's National Guard. Instead of using Oregon's National Guard, the president said he was sending troops from California. The judge, a Trump appointee, calling that move troubling. The administration claims violent criminals are destroying Portland and troops are necessary to protect federal assets and personnel.
Okay, so obviously two sides of this. Sort of more of, at this point, an information war than a physical war. Luckily, we're not seeing death happen. We're seeing protesters. We're seeing flashbangs and tear gas. But we're into over 100 days that protesters have been outside of ICE facilities, preventing ICE agents from doing their jobs, trying to expose the ICE agents, dox them. And the reason why Trump sent California National Guard up to Oregon is because of the doxing going on. The National Guard that's in Portland doesn't want to be involved in what's going on. Neither do the local police, because they pretty much want to obey the orders of their local governors and the local officials. And the governor and the local mayor is more on the side of Antifa than they are of the National Guard and ICE. And we've been talking about this issue around the office, and it's absolutely so two-sided. Like, if you believe that MAGAs and Trump are Nazis, then you believe that the people who are Antifa, the anti-fascists, are doing the greatest service to humanity right now. They are fighting fascism. But if you believe that Trump was given a mandate by the voters to execute a plan to remove the 11 million illegal immigrants, including, first of all, the most violent offenders, and that's his mandate given to him by the voters, and he's just fulfilling the mandate that he was given to become president, then, of course, Trump's doing a great thing, and ICE agents are doing the best possible thing for our country, and they're doing the will of the voters. What side you land on determines your view of this conflict. This conflict is being repeated in Chicago right now. And federal, judges, state judges are blocking the measures that Trump is trying to impose. And, it's starting to feel like the fabric of our society is being torn. It's starting to feel like we're supposed to be watching these images, and we're supposed to be afraid of what's going on. But I want to point out to you something. This is what I like to do with this program. I want to take a step back, and I want to get out of our brains for a second. And I want to think about how I believe a lot of this, like Nick Shirley just pointed out, is manufactured. I mean, so there's these Antifa people who supposedly can be there day after day after day after day after day for 100 days. They can disrupt ICE agents. These people, I don't know what's going on exactly there, but how can you afford to work all night disrupting the actions and all day disrupting ICE agents without compensation, without orchestration, without somebody helping you out? A news reporter went through a camp, an Antifa camp, and they were given all these food donations and water and provisions and places to sleep. And this is, I believe, a lot more organized than what we are being told. I don't think this is just some grassroots uprising. I think that a lot of manufactured consent, that's a new term I've kind of glommed onto, is happening, especially in these regions where they believe literally MAGAs are Nazis and the Nazis are taking over. We need to stop the Nazis. And this is all about a war of the racist Nazis against these poor illegal immigrants. What do you think? Tell me in the comments below. But I want to point out something that happens when a center of your brain called the cerebral cortex and your amygdala is activated. So this is the psychological viewpoint I want to take now. We obviously as humans have this fear centers of our brain where everything goes from shades of gray and, oh yeah, that point and that point, and oh yeah, I can understand that side and I can understand that side, where everything moves from shades of gray to black and white. No, these people are evil, these people are good. How do you switch our brain chemistry to go from seeing the world in shades of gray, kind of good, kind of bad, kind of very bad, kind of very good, into evil and good? This is a battle between evil and good. How do you do that? Here's how you do that. You repeat hysteria over and over again. You repeat imagery of people fighting over and over again. You show people who look like they're being abused. You find footage and imagery of reckless endangerment of people by forces of power and authority. If you keep repeating and seeing those images again and again, rather than operating out of our cerebral, our prefrontal cortex, which is the human part of our brain, which is unique to humans, we start working out of the cerebral cortex of our brain, and we start seeing everything in black and white. Oh, we must go out and kill these people. It's like that fear center part of our brain, I believe, is intentionally being activated by the media. Why is the media stoking these fears is the big question. Why does the media want us to believe that this is an us versus them battle going on? I think that's the real question. And then why does it appear that Antifa is highly organized to create this, help the media create this imagery? I don't see that a lot of people are asking that question right now, but I've actually spent the last 5 years studying the way the brain operates when it's affected by trauma. And we took on some foster kids who we had in our home for 4 years, and we adopted 2 of them. And what we learned about trauma is that kids can very easily get their brains switched to, they call it in simplistic terms, upstairs brain and downstairs brain. So when kids are activated, have their downstairs brain too activated for too long, they're then officially suffering from trauma or the effects of trauma. And then it takes a lot of time and effort to get the brain to be recentered into the prefrontal cortex, where you see people not as mean or bad people and, oh, she's so nice, he's so good. And then, you know, kids who suffered from trauma see that anytime they're receiving any punishment for anything, that's just because that adult is mean. And anytime adult gives them anything, nice treatment, they develop what's called reactive attachment disorder, where they just love this adult. They glom onto them because they see, oh, that adult is so much nicer than my mom and dad. Please just, they do anything they can to survive the trauma that they're being inflicted with. And so this is what I see the media is constructing. It's whether it's deliberate, I don't know. But if you definitely want to feel afraid day after day after day, then just doom scroll your social media feed, look at these pictures that are coming out of Portland, and then eventually you're going to decide 100% one side is good, the other side is evil, or vice versa. That will literally happen to you inside of your brain. And so I think we should be all aware that is what's happening. And if we allow that to happen, just like the Civil War that happened in this country before, where somehow the Union Army and the Confederates were able to see each other as vile enemies enough to the point where they're willing to kill each other, it could happen again in our country if we just allow it. But if we take a step back and we realize this very much appears to be manufactured, this very much appears to be a giant smokescreen that I believe, unfortunately, much bigger elite powers want to see happen, then I think that we can get past this. So the question is, do you want to be a pawn, or do you want to be a chess player? That's really what it comes down to. And I think if you continue to watch this imagery, watch the mainstream media, believe everything they're telling you, I guarantee you will become a pawn. But if you take the step out and you look at this from the perspective of just asking good questions and trying to find answers, I mean, the big question is, why is this happening here in Portland, and why is it happening in Chicago? Why is this? Why are Antifa protesters being bussed in, as Nick Shirley was pointing out? Why are they having special donations given for all these provisions to make sure that these people are well fed? Why is this happening? I mean, I think if enough people in Portland start asking that question right now, they're not going to be anybody's pawns. They will be part of they will be the chess players, and they will be able to control their own destiny. So with that said, thank you so much for watching. If you got a comment about this, I'd love to have it. This is Beyond the Beehive. It's separate from Utah Stories, but this is our magazine, Utah Stories. It's our current issue, our October issue, with an awesome brunch guide in the center. you can go visit utahstories.com and be a part of our digital newsletter community, where we send you the voices of local Utah every single week. And yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next